I want to thank our reader, Bob Wertz, for the great reading, and Gary Lynn Floyd and our music team for the wonderful music that supports the message. And this week we're starting our month of September, where our theme is authenticity. So today we're exploring living authentically, which means living in alignment with your deepest values, your truth, and your soul, rather than from external pressures or those masks that we sometimes put on and wear. In our reading today, we heard Brene Brown wrote, "Authenticity is a collection of choices that we have to make every day. It's about the choice to show up and be real, the choice to be honest, the choice to let our true selves be seen." Let's take that in for a moment. Let your true self be seen. Buddha also said, "Peace comes from within. Do not seek it without." Now, both of those bits of advice are worth thinking about, are they not? So while you ponder it, let me give you your question for the week. What is the one choice you might make today to consistently live authentically, to see the spiritual power of authenticity, and to be willing to be vulnerable, to be authentic? Let me repeat that. What is the one choice you might make today to consistently live authentically, to see the spiritual power of authenticity, and to be willing to be vulnerable, to be authentic? So why do you think so many of us hide the truth of who we really are? We put on those masks in our lives rather than showing our true selves. Well, I have a few theories about that. I think there are plenty of reasons. Fear of rejection, desire to please others, social conditioning and comparisons, and our ego's need for approval. I guess we've probably all experienced one of those feelings, or maybe all of them at some time in our life. But the real question is, was it worth it? Jonathan Parker wrote, "Living authentically means stepping away from the mask and roles and embracing the vulnerability of being real." And it's so much easier to say than to do, right? I know I used to be a people pleaser. My closer friends will tell you that I've outgrown that I left that part of me behind. Not that I'm cruel when I speak my truth, yet I no longer need for my ego to have approval from people outside of myself, at least most of the time. I love these words of Lao Tzu. "When you are content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everyone will respect you." Really, isn't life so much easier when we are around people that we feel safe with expressing our thoughts, with being exactly who we are? I can say for myself that it certainly is. And that's not to say that I agree with those people when I'm around them, with everything that they say or do, or with their politics or their religion. It is to say that I feel safe knowing that love is the underlying connection that we have, and that love abides in that relationship or in that community of people, like it does in our morning and evening prayer groups. Really, comparisons create so much havoc in our lives. We're not bent to be someone else, and yet how many of us bask in the glory of our own uniqueness and our own beingness? Part of comparisons stems from our early childhood. Like me, do you remember drawing freely with crayons until someone told you that that's not how you do it, or you're no good at it? And from that moment, you stop drawing authentically in order to conform or to please that person that you happen to respect. Please let go of those old habits. Think about a caterpillar. It has to relinquish all of who it is at the moment to become a butterfly. It doesn't try to be another insect. It simply eventually unfolds into its true essence. And what a beautiful essence it is. The Dalai Lama told us, the purpose of our lives is to be happy. Happiness cannot exist without authenticity. I want to repeat that because I think that's very important information. The purpose of our lives is to be happy. And happiness cannot exist without authenticity. So think of all those times that you were trying to please people or bend the truth to be more liked or perhaps just not to be rejected. Were you truly happy? And by the way, who were they liking? Not the real you. So what did you really gain other than having to put on a mask when you were around those people? My Dean, Catherine Economo, wrote this: authenticity is the courage to remove the costumes we've been told to wear and to shine in the garments of the soul. What a beautiful way of looking at authenticity, letting ourselves shine in the garments of our own soul. Wow. It certainly makes me want to be true to myself consistently. How about you? You know, in the Bible, John 8:32, we read, "You will hold the truth, and the truth will set you free." It's so true. Only living in our truth sets us free. Otherwise, we're trapped in lies and deceptions and masks and costumes, not of our own making. Well, maybe sometimes of our own making. Living authentically brings freedom and joy and wholeness and alignment, because when you live authentically, you give others permission to do the same. And what a gift that is. In A Course in Miracles, it says, to be in harmony with God is to be wholly yourself. To be in harmony with God is to be wholly yourself. So we could say to be wholly yourself is to be in harmony with God. I don't know about you, but being in harmony with God certainly sounds like the way I want to be. There's a power we create within ourselves when we strive to be truly authentic in all of our words and actions. And we all know that our words have power that I'm sure each one of us wants to use for good and for the good of all, right? I know that when I was in Portland and in the process of selling my house, and selling to a friend can always be a tricky situation, disagreements occurred about what agreements we'd made, and I had put them in writing. And he did something underhanded, and I decided to take a stand against it, which he didn't like, in spite of the fact he was getting the house far below market value. I know he was young and used to getting what he wanted, yet I also knew that right is right. And the result was not pleasant. And eventually animosity on his part showed up when I went to clean out the garage, and I had hurt feelings. Nonetheless, I was proud that I stood up for my values and what I felt was right. If I had backed down in that situation, I would have felt like a victim. And instead, I was standing in my own truth. Because the truth is, our word is important and our agreements are important. The Bible in Matthew 5:16 tells us, "Let your light so shine before others." Think about whether or not you're willing to do that. Or is fear or feeling too vulnerable getting in the way of letting your light shine? Do you often hide your light under that proverbial bushel basket? Let's try a spiritual practice. I call it embracing all of who you are. Think of one thing that you hide about yourself. Hey, we probably all have something. Now take a deep breath and whisper to yourself silently, "This is part of me, and I choose to embrace it with love." This is part of me, and I choose to embrace it with love. The truth is that there's nothing about us that we need hide. We're created in the image and likeness of God. So embrace all of who you are. So I guess now the question might be, how can you start to show that part of you to the world, that part of you that you hide? Until you're willing to do just that, you're not fully living authentically. It's like the Course in Miracles tells us. The truth is that you are created by a loving God, and nothing you can do changes that. So why would you want to hide any part of the true you? Are we back to that list I stated earlier in our service? Fear of rejection, desire to please others, comparing yourselves to others, your ego needing approval. Are any of those things truly worth giving up the you that God created you to be? Think about that. A Course in Miracles also tells us, child of God, you were created to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Do not forget this. When we fail to live authentically, we have forgotten who we're created to be, to create that good, beautiful, and holy. So let's not forget it. And let's take to heart these words of Ernest Holmes. We should feel that we are rooted in pure spirit, and that spirit is rooted in us. Do you feel rooted in spirit? I can almost hear your mind saying, yeah, I know I'm a child of God, and I know I'm rooted in spirit, but there are no buts. There are only ands from now on. And I want to be me always. And I want true connections, which is requiring me to be authentic. And I want to be the real me, not some fake me with a mask, not my not true self. And I want authentic relationships built on vulnerability, honesty, kindness, and compassion. So stop pretending. Don't pretend that you like those kale smoothies anymore unless you really do. And don't let your dog or your pet be the only creature that sees the real you. Even that you that you are before your morning coffee or tea. Step into all of who you are and get to know the truth of your being and bring that to the world. The Dalai Lama would tell us, only the development of compassion and understanding for others can bring us the tranquility and happiness we all seek. Authenticity indeed requires us to learn to be compassionate, not only for others, but for ourselves. So, here are a few spiritual practices that might help you discover your authentic self. The first one I call the authenticity check. Ask yourself once or twice or more a day, am I living from fear or from love? It's a great question. Am I living from fear or from love? Ask yourself it right now. And here's another one. I call it meditation on truth. Sit quietly for a few minutes and ask yourself, what feels real for me right now? What feels real for you right now? Think about it. Here's another one, an authenticity journal. Write in your journal 3 small ways you honored your truth each day. And another one, releasing comparisons. Watch how your words impact you. Learn to replace I should with I choose. Because it's wonderful that we have choices, that we have this free will. We do have a right to choose. And the last one, the courage practice. Do one small act each week that requires you to have the courage to express the real you. And then notice how that felt. So let's remember, authenticity is not a destination, it's a practice. And it's both an individual journey and a collective gift. As Ernest Holmes reminds us, be yourself, for yourself is God. If we could embrace that knowing, we would always live true to who we are. Remember to say to yourself regularly, I am whole, I am real, I am free. I am whole, I am real, I am free. I am whole, I am real, I am free. So in summary, how might you learn to live authentically? Well, start by releasing those masks and false expectations and fear of rejection, and stop comparing yourselves to others. Remember the spiritual power of authenticity, the power of your true words. Be rooted in spirit, and remember that spirit is rooted in you. And it takes being vulnerable to be authentic. So be the real you, not some fake version of it. Be compassionate with yourself and others. And notice when you're living from fear rather than from love. That's a true sign that you're not living authentically. So here's your affirmation for the week. How is it I so willingly, energetically, and effortlessly, consistently live authentically? See the spiritual power of authenticity and am willing to be vulnerable, to be authentic. And your challenge for the week? Make a conscious effort every day to live authentically. Determine one way you'd like to live more authentically in the next week, and then do it. Commit to using some spiritual practices that'll help you, because I know that it really is a matter of practice. Let's pray. May each of us remember to say daily, I'm safe to be me. I'm safe to be real. I'm safe to live authentically. And may we make time to be courageous enough to express all of who we are and all of who we know we were created to be, to create that beautiful and that holy. And especially, may we each remember to do what feels right and true for us in every situation. Divine Spirit, what I know to be the truth is that each of us heard something today that's helping us to live more authentically and to look beyond our fears and live from love. I see each of us being the embodiment of divine love. Guide our steps with wisdom. Fill our days with gentleness and with vision. And let each of us be rooted in peace and lifted by love. Choosing today to live in divine alignment with the truth of our being, knowing all that we are and all that we might become. I'm grateful for each person who chose to spend some time with us today to learn more about living authentically. And I'm grateful we can go forth today with joy and courage and an open heart, knowing we are guided to live authentically in all areas of our life because we are rooted in spirit. And it's from this gratitude and with joy, bliss, and blessings that I release my word into that divine yes, knowing it's already done. Knowing that the yes has been said, I can say amen, and we can affirm it together. And so it is. And I'm so grateful for the donations that are continually supporting our community. And I am so happy that we are taking some time to support other people by participating in the Day of Service. Our international organization is providing a World Day of Service on September 13th, and we're planning to participate by making and distributing bags to the homeless. We're looking for slightly loved purses and backpacks to use to hold the items, as well as donations of the items. So plan to join us on Saturday, September 13th at the home of Bob and Nancy Wirtz. The address is out there on our website, along with the many things that we need for donations. Not only gently used purses and backpacks, but even those cloth or heavy plastic shopping bags, bottled water, canned meats, proteins or snack bars, chips, small shampoos and conditioners and soaps and body wash, and socks for both men and women, and caps and scarves for the colder weather. You can call me or email me, or you can call Robin by Carpenter, and her number's also out on the website. It's 650-784-1565. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you for your donations. Enjoy our offertory song.